Karina Kazayas here, and today I wanted to get on the line and chat with you about action planning. Yes, very important when we're talking media strategy. So building out our media mindset, right, and really mastering that, we want to get to the core guts of setting an action plan. This is super, super important when it comes to your media strategy, okay? Especially important when time or money or resources are scarce, right? Which for many people they might be. Now, if you're a larger company, you probably have a designated budget for your media strategy. But if you don't worry, because what we're going to do is we're going to go into the 8 pillars of what's involved in setting an action plan for your media strategy. This is literally going to help you remove duplication of efforts. It's going to help you really target and focus what direction you and your team want to go in. And it's also going to help you really understand what you're going to need with respect to time, money, and resources, so that you can really understand how you want to move forward, what you're moving forward with, and make your media strategy as impactful as possible. Because remember, if you have an impactful media strategy that is going to boost your brand image, that is going to boost your brand recognition, that is going to boost ultimately your customer loyalty, the customer credibility that you have with them, and people that are comfortable and feel good about businesses that they interact with, those are the people that buy, right? Ultimately, we want a strong media strategy, a strong media mindset, so that we increase sales, and we increase sales so that we can get rich, right? Part of the image and the mission, which is why we're setting an action plan. And so this is a huge, huge topic that is going to require, you know, us to delve into a lot more detail. Each of these 8 pillars that I'm going to give you right now can be broken out into its own mini video session, and we're going to be doing that later on in time. But for now, I do want to go through what those 8 pillars are, again, because it's important to set a map, right? You're basically with an action plan when it comes to your media strategy. This is incredibly important if you're not working with a professional PR team. And most people, especially solo entrepreneurs, especially if you're representing yourself as a musician, as an artist, as a coach of some sort, and you are the brand, then you want to set your media strategy. You want to be clear and concise on what that is, so that you can go out and crush your competition and kill it when it comes to blowing up your business. Okay, so these are the 8 pillars right now. We're going to go through them. So when it comes to setting a media strategy, part of your action plan has to be, number 1, identify your objective. Yes, what is your objective? What is the purpose and point of you even wanting to get in front of the media in the first place? You need to know what it is you're going out there to communicate. Okay, you need to understand, are you looking to grow your visibility? Are you looking to announce the promotion of a new product? Are you looking to maybe tell people that you're opening a new location, right? Get really clear on what is your objective. You need to know this so that you can run a through line between all of your 4 media pillars. Now, we've talked about this before. The 4 media pillars are television, radio, print, and digital, right? You want to have that same messaging for that one same objective running through all 4 of those pillars, so that you can then properly leverage them and get that exponential growth that we've talked about before. So, number 1, understand and identify what your objective is with that particular plan. Now, don't forget, over the course of a year, you're going to have a number of different marketing strategies. I'm backing that up. You're going to have a number of different marketing plans under one collective strategy. But you want to understand at the beginning of the year, what is your overall macro level objective. So, number 1, get clear on that, and we can go into details in another video. Number 2, you need to identify who is your target audience. Okay, this is important so that you know which media outlets to go after, right? You're not going to go try and get onto an interview on VH1 or MTV if your target audience is baby boomers, right? Be clear on who your target audience is, and spend some time identifying what media outlets serve that demographic. If you're looking to get in front of lawyers and CPAs, then you probably should try to go after something that's going to get you placement in the Wall Street Journal or in the New York Times. That's going to be very, very different than if you're going after housewives. who are more prone to be watching the Today Show or Good Morning America, right? So get clear on your target audience is pillar number 2. All right, pillar number 3 for action planning is what is the tone of your voice? Now, I don't mean the tone of your voice as in like how booming is it right now, but I mean what is the tone of the voice coming out of your company, your brand, right? If you look at different companies, you can see that some are personable, some are authoritative, some are fun. Let's look at Target. You know, Target, the store, is sort of fun and accessible, right? Come in, cheap prices, you'll find everything you need for your family. Versus Nike, who is very much has a tone of competitive, right? Win, you'll get there, just do it, right? Very authoritative. So get clear on what is the tonality of your brand and your brand message, and make sure when you're setting your media strategy that you're writing it into whatever pitch you're putting together in that same voice. You want to get clear and have people clearly recognize what you stand for, and the tonality of how you approach the media and show up in the media is very much important in that respect. All right, pillar number 4 is key and core messages. So we've identified our objective, right? The objective is to get 1,000 views in 1 month because I'm going after XYZ target market. But the message, the core message, is something a little bit different. This has to do with once you're in front of those people, once you're on that media outlet, once you have an opportunity to be written up in that magazine or that newspaper article, what is it that you want to say? Are you there to communicate that you have, you know, a new product for sale, that you've written a new book, like I mentioned, that you've opened a new location, right? What is your core message? And for those of you that have done the 21-day intensive, the Make Media Matter 21-day online intensive, you'll know that this is important. This is part of week 2's content, which was get clear on your pitch, right? Identify your hot topics, identify your hook, identify your speaker points, identify your sound bites. All of that goes into how you're communicating your core message. So very, very important. Pillar number 5 is your content. So yes, identifying what your message is important, but what is going to go into that content? How are you going to build that out, right? Are you offering statistics? Have you maybe conducted your own research? Are you maybe talking to people through the media in order to conduct research? Or maybe you're announcing that you have some sort of competition going on between now and Easter, and you are giving away a free trip, right? Get clear on what the content of your message is, because you've done all this work to try and identify the media outlets you want to talk to. You've gotten onto and through the gatekeepers to chat with them, and you want to make sure that the content, that you're taking real advantage of that golden opportunity and making sure you're communicating whatever content effectively that you want to communicate. Okay, the next pillar that I want to talk about when it comes to action planning for a media strategy is your media image. So what I mean by that is, do you have a media spokesperson? Or are you the spokesperson for your brand, right? It doesn't matter, but a lot of companies, because let's say they're in manufacturing and they've got a bunch of rough kind of, you know, blue collar, heavy worker guys in the company, they may not be wanting to pitch with one of those guys if they're targeting housewives with the product that they're manufacturing. So they may go out and actively recruit a professional spokesperson to be that voice, to be that face of their brand, and train them up so that that spokesperson is familiar with what the brand message is, what the brand target audience is, what the actionable items are that are part of the media strategy. Now, if that person is you, even better, no problem. That's why you're here, taking the you know, as part of the Media Mindset Mastery Hub, and taking advantage of these free training courses. And we're going to go into, you know, again, a lot of what you need with respect to tonality, with respect to articulation, with respect to getting really polished for when you go out there and do talk to the media. But for right now, just make sure that as part of your media strategy, you do identify what your media image is and who is going to be representing that image, okay? All right, pillar number 7. This one's important, and this is something that a lot of people overlook, is crisis communication. Yes, do you have the script ready for when something, if something goes wrong? Now, we're hoping nothing's going to go wrong, right? Obviously, you don't want anything to go wrong, but sometimes it does, right? Sometimes you have to do a product recall. Sometimes somebody was on the TV or radio that said something they shouldn't have, or it was taken out of context. Do you have your crisis communication ready to go? Now, as part of your action plan, this is important, but there's a fine line because it's tough to pre-write content for something that may or may never happen. But if you're in a certain type of industry and you know that there is a chance that something may be a little awry at some point, you can probably do a little bit of preliminary pre-planning so that you're not caught at the 11th hour with nothing at all. So crisis communication, very important as part of your marketing media strategy when we're action planning. And finally, number 8, don't forget to monitor and evaluate all of this effort. Again, this is something that people forget about. They go out, they do a media appearance, or they get that placement in that magazine, and then they forget all about it. They don't go back to actually look at the stats, to look at what traffic, what number of clientele, potential leads may have been generated from that effort. So if you're not correctly monitoring and then evaluating how that media placement went, you're missing out on a real key part of your action planning. So this was macro overview, but very important as you're putting your media strategy together, as you're setting your action plan for the coming few months. Make sure that you're addressing each of these 8 pillars. I'm going to go through them again really quick one more time for you. So number 1 is understand what your objective is. Why are you trying to get onto the media in the first place, right? Number 2, identify who is your target audience. Who are we talking to? Or where do we find those people, right? Kind of important. The tonality of your voice. And no, I don't mean the tonality literally. That's a whole different video. But what I'm talking about is what is the message, the tonality of your voice in the message that you're trying to project. Are you the fun company? Are you the growing company? Are you the innovative company? Who are you, right? What tone do you want to be projecting with? Number 4 is recognizing and identifying what is your core message, right? What are you out there to communicate to people, right? Are you the fastest? Are you the cheapest? Are you the most reliable, right? Are you FedEx that's going to get it there to them the next day? What is your core message? What do you want to be known for, right? Is it maybe just personal integrity? That's an important one. That's one of mine, right? That's one of my core messages. Number 6, what is your media image and who is responsible for projecting that media image? Are you your company or your brand's spokesperson, or do you have someone that is going to be designated to be your spokesperson? Something to think about when you're action planning. Number 7, we talked about was crisis communication. Don't forget that unfortunately things go wrong sometimes, so we want to be prepared. So just make sure that you're making note of some of the things that you may want to prepare for. Get some small media scripts ready to go. They can be pulled out and tweaked on demand so that you're not running around at the 11th hour, and so that you can polish things up and look professional in the event of a crisis, right? You want to always keep a real positive, professional, and packaged appearance when it comes to media. Even social media, right? Even social media, which is so much more casual, you still want to come across as professional and as an expert in your field. And finally, don't forget, as part of your media strategy, your action planning, to set aside time and effort to take a look at whether you have been correctly monitoring and evaluating your efforts. Real important. Go back, take a look at the numbers, take a look at how it went, take a look at what you can learn from, what you can learn to do differently the next time, because with media training, there will be tons of opportunities for you to get that media placement, to leverage that media placement. We're going to talk about how to leverage it in a way that's going to create exponential growth in some of our later training videos. But for now, this was action planning, a macro view on the 8 pillars involved in setting a strong media strategy. Woo-hoo! I love this stuff. I'm a media girl all the way, and I hope that this was helpful to you today. I'm Katarina. That was our video here at the Media Mindset Mastery Hub. I'll see you again next time. Okay, ciao.